We learned that vision, mission, and values articulate the company's foundational principles and the company's overarching direction. Now, it's time to put that conceptual work into action with goals and objectives. The objectives should be in alignment, as we discussed, and point to the vision, mission, and values. Objectives should be well-rounded. They should address all areas of company and stakeholder concern, and as such, objectives should be designed with different perspectives in mind. In the last presentation, we discussed 4 perspectives suggested by Kaplan and Norton through the Balanced Scorecard Institute, BSI. One of your assignments during this module is to become familiar with the BSI website and the content contained within. Kaplan and Norton suggest 4 perspectives: 2 internal perspectives and 2 external perspectives around which we design our objectives. Here's an example of some hypothetical objectives that are built around the 4 different perspectives. It gives the objectives balance. For example, our objectives are not just focused on the finances to the exclusion of the customer or the employees. Conversely, our objectives are not just focused on the customer or the employees to the exclusion of the financial. We're well-rounded. We're more balanced by taking all 4 of these different perspectives. Now, are you ready for this? The really cool thing about this methodology from the Balanced Scorecard Institute is that these 4 perspectives cascade up. Each lower level perspective aligns with and supports the next level perspective. Straight up from learning and growing to the financial goals of the company. For example, improving workforce education can help optimize work processes. Optimized work processes or efficiencies can improve on-time departures. On-time departures enhance the customer experience, and when the customer is happy, they come back and they tell their friends, and more customers can lead to increased revenue and therefore more profit. So you see how lower level or baseline level objectives can cascade up or can lead to, in strategic ways, meeting our higher level perspectives. The article that you read called Trouble with Your Strategy, Then Map It, that article goes into great depth about these cascaded objectives through the different perspectives. In designing objectives, pick objectives that move the company in the direction of the vision, the mission, and the values. In this way, we are creating, actually, an organizational strategy map. Let's press in then on the objectives a little bit more. Strategic objectives are sharply focused goals. They must be specific and they must be measurable. You cannot improve what you cannot measure. In preparation for measurement, we need to determine what metric we're going to use. Another word for metric, or something that we use in the industry, is called Key Performance Indicators, or KPIs. Use caution here. Do not measure just for the sake of measurement. The wrong KPI can be misleading. Your assigned reading in the Wigman and Chappell text and some areas of your presentation, they give examples of a KPI in the aviation business that has the potential to give erroneous information. If we're not careful and we use the wrong metrics, or we use KPIs that are not correct, we can end up leading ourselves in the wrong direction. But we must come up with appropriate metrics, appropriate KPIs, because developing metrics and measurement for objectives that has proven to be somewhat elusive to many intelligent leaders. However, appropriate measurement is one of the most crucial components of objectives. If the objective is not properly measured, it's useless. It won't get any attention by the staff or the employees, and we don't know whether or not we're meeting the objective or not. In this, I've assigned you another article. It's by Stacy Barr. It's a fantastic article and is a link in your PowerPoint presentation. That article provides very good insight into designing measurable objectives. Please read that for your assignments as well. And here is, again, our sample balance scorecard with the 4 perspectives on the left side. Now we have added the KPIs, or the metrics, by which we are going to use to quantitatively measure the objectives. So we're working our way from left to right. We have our perspectives, therefore that gives us balanced objectives. From the objectives we design metrics, or we determine what metrics, what key performance indicators we're going to use to determine whether or not we are meeting our objectives, whether we are successful or not in meeting our objectives. When setting goals for the company, measurable objectives are given targets. Your Latino text and the presentation both give several different types of targets, but targets, that's quantitative measurements for your objectives, targets give the company something to shoot for. Critical targets are the minimum that can be sustained by the company. Performance targets and stretch targets are the goals that we should aim for. Here again is our sample balance scorecard with some sample targets included. The sample targets are over here on the right side, and they break them down into the 5 different categories that are given in your Latino text. This slide is also in your PowerPoint presentation. And how, then, does all of this relate to our class in cause analysis? Well, we need to define success before we know whether or not we achieve it. We set direction, articulate objectives, measures. We set objective targets. If we meet the targets, good. If we don't meet the targets, why didn't we? If we were meeting our targets and then all of a sudden we were not, what changed? When performance degradation occurs, that is, our measurements decrease, they decline, our performance declines, our performance degradation occurs. When that happens, we need to investigate the event, determine the root cause, and implement corrective action. That is the cause analysis. We will cover all of that in great detail throughout Unit 1. Starting with the next video, we'll briefly address 2 very different types of failures and how each different type of failure might adversely impact the organization. Stay tuned.